And in Gadara Pratham 78, Nana Shivanand Swami asks, how can someone with stable satsang be recognized, with a stable foundation in satsang be recognized? And Bhagwan explains, a person who is absolutely loyal to satsang cannot at all tolerate someone speaking unkindly of satsang. For example, even though one may have had a disagreement with a member of one's family, one would be able to tolerate anyone speaking unkindly to them. So just as the example I gave before, just how we are loyal to our friends and family, that is the exact loyalty we should resemble in satsang too, because this is like our family. We are all here together and we all have the same goal of going to Akshardham. Therefore, we should stick together like Bhagwan has told us to. Therefore, just as one is loyal to one's relative, if a person is similarly loyal to satsang, then his foundation in satsang is stable. So to develop a stable foundation in satsang and to make sure that you are doing good in satsang, you should be loyal to satsang and all of Bhagwan's Sampraday. And one lila about this is Pivdav na Prabhu Shankar. So in a gam named Pivdav, nu namatu Prabhu Shankar. And Maharaj wrote him a letter saying, as soon as you get this letter, come to Vadtal, okay? And mind you, coincidentally, Prabhu Shankar got this letter right when he was sitting down to get married. Like right when he was about to get married, he was handed the letter. And in that moment, he read the letter and he just thought to himself, what should I, like he thought, like, what should I do now? Now, if you were in that moment, you'd be like, okay, I can just go right after I get married. But Prabhu Shankar took off all of his ornaments and he gave them to his dad. And his dad was like, where are you going? You're about to get married. You can just go to Swaminarayan Bhagwan after. But he said, no, my Bhagwan comes first. I can get married another time, but I can't take the bucks of Swaminarayan Bhagwan again. So after I'm disloyal to him once, he won't forgive me for that. So I have to take his bucks right now. And with that mentality, Prabhu Shankar went straight to Maharaj, even though his dad tried to convince him not to. And that is just one of many examples in our satsang how a bhakta of Bhagwan has had bucks for Swaminarayan Bhagwan. Now, that's kind of extraordinary that he gave up everything just to go see Bhagwan. He didn't even know if Bhagwan needed anything or not. But maybe Bhagwan didn't even need anything. He just called him. To think like how good that is kind of incredible. And in Garra Madhya 60, Bhagwan talks about the benefits of having loyalty towards the bhakta of Bhagwan. So Sriji Maharaj says in Garra Madhya 60, the Shastras state that if a bhakta of Bhagwan is being killed or harassed by someone, then he who stands in defense of that bhakta of Bhagwan and in doing so dies or becomes wounded himself is totally free from the five great sins. So we talked about the five great sins in Niyam. They were the Panchvartmans. So if you see your fellow satsangi or fellow bhakta of Bhagwan getting harassed or even killed, which is unlikely, but it could happen by someone, and if you stand in defense of that person, like if, for example, if someone is bullying your fellow satsangi, then if you stand in defense from that person, then you are freed from the five great sins. So any five of those five great sins that you've committed, you're freed from those. And that is not an easy feat, because to free yourself from the pap of those sins is extremely hard. And to think that just by one simple action can do that shows the importance of Paksh and how we should use it throughout our life and through our satsang family. Such is the glory of defending a bhakta of Bhagwan. That is the importance of having the defense of a bhakta of Bhagwan. So there are also repercussions for not having loyalty towards a bhakta of Bhagwan. Like if you remember from the Chaturmas, there's pros and cons to that. So repercussions of not having loyalty they are included in the Gadara Madhya 60. However, if one is hurt by the words of Bhagwan, of the bhaktas of Bhagwan, as if he has been shot in the heart by some arrows, and if a grudge develops from that hatred to such an extent that it is not resolved as long as one lives, then such a person is like an outcast. So if you and your fellow satsangi get into an argument and you hold a grudge from that, and like you obviously if you hold a grudge, there's a sense of hatred and negative energy that builds up inside of you. And if that is not resolved as long as one lives, so before you die that isn't resolved, that person is like an outcast. Like he is aside from the rest of us. He's removed basically from the family. of satsang, because Bhagwan doesn't want that negative energy in satsang. So thumbs up if you think that we should definitely, if we ever get into an argument, we should try to resolve things in satsang. Show like a sign of like, because it's really important that we stick up for each other. And also, does anyone have an example of how they've stuck up for a Bhakt of Bhagwan? Like, does anyone want to share any experiences that they've had? If not, that's totally fine. But it's important to engage. Okay, that's fine. I will actually share a personal experience. When I attended, I think it was my second Shibir, when we were sitting on the bus, this is a very stupid experience, but it shows like the importance of like having taking your friend's side, and how like you shouldn't let the little things affect you. When we were going, I think it was on a nature walk, someone was making fun of my friend, and he was wearing a tilak chando, and that person wasn't, and they were older. And in that instance, I was like, it's not a big deal. It is the tilak chando. We're supposed to do it. Like, it's something that we should be doing it, and it's a positive thing. And in that moment, not only did I defend my friend, but that person also kind of realized that, okay, I kind of see your perspective. Because if you show kindness and you say things in a nice way, it might change someone's mind, because you don't know what that other person is going through. So just by practicing kindness, you can really help in that situation. And so that person also um had that person also started doing tilak chando, and I think that's kind of incredible to think that like they personally, without even like consideration, they kind of changed their mind in that instant. And Bhagwan even continues. He says, even if such a person possesses qualities such as dharma and tyag and performs tap, it is all worthless. So if a person does tap, he has dharma, he takes care of his family, he has and tyag, and he has all of these divine qualities of a good Hari Bhagat. If he doesn't have Paksh in Swaminarayan Bhagwan, and he doesn't take the side of his Bhaktos, then it is all worthless. Bhagwan says in Gadara Madhya 60. So it is important that we as Satsangis take the side and take the Paksh of our fellow Hari Bhaktos. And in fact, even if he performs a million other activities, his Jiv will not attain Kalyan. So Bhagwan really stresses the importance of Paksh here.